All right, guys, welcome to Hunting the Rut Hotline with Don Bell and Steve, and you are live. It is, guys, it's Thanksgiving night, and Steve, we're going to do something a little different today because it's Thanksgiving. I know all them people out there, they're sitting there feeding their faces and eating them with some turkey. I bet they're eating some deer, too.
Yeah, I guarantee
I bet they are. You know, we need to do a thing on here one night and show them how to cook deer. I bet you that'd be a big segment. That's all part of hunting the rut, ain't it?
There's a lot of different ways to cook that whitetail.
Ooh, and boy, Derek, I need to show you a photograph. Derek cooks great deer. So guys, look here. Here's what we're going to do. Because it is Thanksgiving, we know everybody's with their family, and rightly so. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take this opportunity to be able to catch up on all these Facebook questions, Steve.
Good idea.
And so we're jammed with these Facebook questions, so we try to catch up with them, and we ask that you do kind of try to be patient with us, and we do our best to try to get as to many as we can. But tonight gives a great opportunity for us to focus on these Facebook questions to where we can kind of to get as many as we can in this hour, and that's what we're going to do. So folks, listen, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to go to a quick commercial from our sponsor, Top Secret. When we get back, we're going to answer some questions from you on Hunting the Rut. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
All right, guys, welcome back. Tonight, we're going to use this time to be able to answer the questions. And of course, guys, if as you watch the show, Steve, they know that they can go to it and it's archived. So they can go back. And if you don't know that, you can go back and watch this show as many times as you want. Hit the same link anytime during the course of the week. And you can watch this week's show. If they hit it on tonight, it's live. Tomorrow morning, 9-ish, Tom, it will be online to where you can go to it, and you do. It's archived. You can go all the way back to day one. So it's a great encyclopedia source to.
And you can fast forward and pick spots. Certain
you know,
questions.
It's like an encyclopedia. Hey, it's almost like the internet, isn't it? You can ask questions. You know, that'd be a good thing, Tom, to look at that. We could archive that thing where they could go in and want to do it and it'll search it. So what we're going to do, I think, Steve, we got us our first email. I guess that's a Facebook. Who we got?
Facebook question from Robert Paget. It says, "Hey, Don and Steve, it looks like this weekend in Alabama we're going to have some rainy weather. If we have to hunt from a blind, what's the best way to use the buck lure?"
Robert, you want to use scent. You want to use it the same way if it's raining or if it's cold or if it's snowing. It's the same way. You use it the same way. And Steve, the reason for that, if you think about it, and guys, Robert and everybody listening, let's say it's raining where you live right now, outside. If a deer's got to urinate, a deer's going to urinate. You know, he's not going to not do it because it's raining. And so, you know, a deer still smells other deer where they have marked even though it's rained. So the usage of scent would be the same whether it's raining, snow. And people do ask us about snow all the time. Of course, you know, down here we don't have to much worry about that. But as a general rule, now if he's hunting on the blind, it doesn't matter if he's elevated or not. Of course, he's hunting Alabama. I wonder if he's bow hunting.
Yeah, and just to add to that, just typically the rain, I'm not one to like to hunt in the rain, but boy, right after the rain is a great time to hunt. It really seems like they get up and move, especially Alabama, where they just don't move typically good in the rain. Like they do out west and Midwest, they move pretty well in the rain. But yeah, that's kind of always been my observation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're going to rain. They're going to move in front of that rain.
Yeah.
And after the rain.
Yeah.
Whether it's a cold front, a storm, whatever, they're going to feed ahead of it, bed down in it, and move afterwards.
Now, I'm glad they don't like to move in the rain, because I don't like to move. I
don't like hunting in the wind.
No.
When that didn't seem to bother you up here in Illinois. Of course, you don't know one shot a deer.
Well.
So, Big Robert, here's the way you do that. It doesn't matter, guys, if it's raining or not. You want to use scent the same way. It doesn't matter if it's liquid or if you're using the foam. It's going to dilute it, but it's not going to dilute it any more than you sitting in your tree stand and watching a deer mark a scrape, or marking. And you call us in on this, guys. Facebook us on this. Let's take a contest. How many of you have seen a buck mark a scrape in the rain? There's your answer.
And directly after the rain.
Right. Yeah. They're gonna do it. They can still smell. So, Bob or Robert, I hope that answers your question. Let us know. Get back to us on that. I wonder what part of Alabama he's hunting.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's hunting where will we hunt.
Up around Furman or Camden, let us know.
Yeah, we'll come hunting.
Or up near Selma.
That's right, somewhere in that neighborhood. All right, who else we got here tonight?
We got Russell Davis from Jasper, Georgia. Is it better to use mature buck scent or estrus during the rut?
Russell, is it better to use mature buck scent or estrus during the rut? All right, so let's digest that question. What you've got is, and I think what Russell's asking is that during the rut, he's talking about the peak of the rut. So based off of that assumption, and guys, we're making that assumption because it is a popular assumption. But we want to clarify. The rut is the entire hunting season in Georgia, where you're asking, Russell, because once he sheds velvet, a buck is in rut. So when season opens in Georgia, he's out of velvet. He's in rut. He can biologically breed. Now, I didn't say the doe was in. I said the buck's in rut because he's out of velvet. And then he can breed all the way till the time he does what?
Drops his antlers.
Drops his antlers. And when season still ends in Georgia, the majority of the bucks still have the horns. So he's in rut. So the rut in Georgia is the entire hunting season. So, all right, having said that, I think what he's asking, Steve, was just exactly what you said, which he thinks the rut is talking about
the peak.
That's right. So if that's the case, then let's answer the question based off of that assumption that he's asking about the peak of the rut. Is it better to use mature buck urine or estrus during the peak? And the answer to that question is you can use either buck or estrus. In fact, during the peak, you want to use both.
Absolutely.
You want to use both.
Yeah.
Having said that, I want to caveat the word mature. You know, a lot of people, when they use a grunt call, they want the grunt call to sound like a big old deep, you know, a big buck, big baby.
Like a dominant buck.
Yeah, they want dominant, and they assume that dominant means bigger.
Right.
Now, I don't know about you, when I was in high school, there was a little kid in there, he's a little wiry thing, and man, he'd put the butt whipping on you. and the reason for it, I mean, he was just mean. That boy was just mean.
Yeah.
And I've seen little basket bucks, and for that matter, little old cow spikes, long cow spikes, whip, you know, a buck like that because he can penetrate the rack. He's just mean enough to do it. Dominant does not always mean bigger.
Right, that's right.
As a general rule, dominant means bigger, older, more mature. But so here in this case, Russell, mature, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to come from a mature buck to work. In fact, it could be detrimental to you, Steve, in the sense that let's just say that Russell just wanted to kill a deer. In other words, he's trying to put meat in the freezer. If you use urine from a big mature, sure enough, mature dominant buck, and you put it out, and a little buck comes along,
Yeah.
you're going to send him to New York because he ain't going to want to hang around there.
Right.
And so, but it doesn't matter if you use a young buck in a primary scrape. Hey, Russell, that'd be like you coming home smelling Old Spice cologne knowing you don't wear it in your bedroom.
Right.
When you flip that light on, it doesn't matter if you find a mature man or a teenager.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not who, but where. So, Russell, to answer your question, Bucky,
Use them both. Yeah.
use them both.
Yeah.
Buck, it doesn't matter if it's young or old, because he's going to be just as mad coming to a teenager as he is a big boy.
Right. That's right.
In fact, it probably hurt my feelings, so I'd be really, I'd be really mad. All right. So I hope Russell that answered your question. Let's see who else we got.
All right, we got Brian Worley from Indianapolis, Indiana. Which scents should be used for the different phases of the rut?
All righty. Now then, here we're going to use him understanding the word, or at least we're going to clarify using the rut. He's probably, let's see,
Well, it says phases.
Okay, so he's understanding.
Yeah, pre.
Yeah, so
post.
that's right. So he's understanding the question. So understanding that, he's talking about the entire season, pre, peak, post rut. So you got a beginning, a peak, and a winding down. My number one go-to scent, guess what that is?
Nice buck.
It's buck urine. And I mean, without a doubt. And once you use buck, you can use it in all three seasons. In fact, Steve, we're fixing to go to the ATA show, aren't we?
Yeah.
January. Well, we got you guys some stuff coming because this very question, we're going to have end caps when they go in these national accounts that it'll say when you walk up there, Brian, when you walk up to the end cap or our displays with product, it'll say pre-rut, use doe urine, buck, peak rut. It'll show you each period and it'll show you which product to use.
Each phase, each product. So
That's right.
It's
So
going to be a neat deal.
so you got pre-peak and post. And listen, this is anywhere.
Yeah.
But early season, buck's number one, but they can also use doe urine. Pre-rut, if you're wanting to shoot, I try to tell people, Steve, if they just want to shoot a deer, doesn't matter, little buck, big buck, doe. You're trying to put meat in the freezer, just use doe urine.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is that as a buck's coming out of velvet, sometimes, well, a lot of times, that mama doe, that mature doe, she'll actually run them little young bucks coming out of velvet off. I mean, and she's rude with it too. I mean, in fact, you had a picture of
I
that.
had pictures of them.
So I mean, they'll actually rear up like
Whop 'em.
two horses, and son, I mean, they'll pop you with the end of that hoof. And so, in pre-rut, you can use doe urine, and any deer will come in. Doe, buck, any size, they're just coming in. You use buck urine, anything could come in, but then again, that little young buck could.
Yeah.
So I mean, so doe and buck anytime pre-rut.
Yeah.
If you go into the peak of the rut, buck and
Estrus.
estrus.
Yeah.
And then if you go once you go into pre-peak rut, and you use buck, first of all, you start with buck urine, you use it every day of the season. Once you get to the peak, add the estrus. I had a guy called in today and said, hey, when you say add the estrus, I'm not talking about putting them together.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is,
Use them both.
yeah, you start with buck urine, let's say foam, and then you're using buck urine every day of the year. This camera's backwards here. Every day of the year. And then once she starts chasing does, you don't quit using the buck. You use the estrus in conjunction with it.
Right. Right.
Now you got a buck chasing a doe.
Yeah.
So
and then you can use estrus from then on all the way to the
all
end
the
of
way to the end of the season. So once you start using estrus anywhere in the country, you keep using
Yeah,
it
keep using
all the way through the last legal day you can hunt.
Because they're going to cycle again. Just
Bingo.
They're going to keep cycling, especially them as the mature does will come in and then
if they ain't bred, they're going to come back
cycle
in.
again.
And to this point, guys, we'll throw this in here. Sometimes people will say, well, when's the best time to rattle? The best time, if this is the peak of the rut, and this is all the does, the majority of the does, rattling is not as effective because they're standing everywhere.
Right.
You know, you want to fight? Hey, you take out and I'll take him 10. You know, so I'm busy. I'll fight you later. But just before the peak, there's not many does in. There's competition. Rattling's better. During the peak, not that it's not effective, it's just less effective. Exactly to what Steve just said was that in post-rut, those that didn't get bred here is going to do what?
They're coming back in cycle again.
They're going to cycle again, which means now you only have a few in over here, which there's competition again.
Effective again.
So to Chris's point in there, I'll wake Chris up. When you rattle, our tech guy don't like that. So what happens is when you rattle here, it's more effective because there's less does in. After the peak of the rut, there's less does. So best time to rattle is here. You can grunt any time in the season. So Brian, we hope that answers your question up there in Indianapolis. Hey, by the way, guess when we're going to Indianapolis?
We're going to be there 1st of January.
Hey, Big Brian, that's right. We're going to be at the ATA show introducing 2015 products. And we're going to be in your city there, big boy.
Neat stuff coming out.
Guys, we got some
game changers.
We got some game changers coming out. And just as much as Top Secret has changed the scent industry, we got you something coming in what area?
The odor stop.
Odor stop. And you wait to hear what we talk about. You're going to go, God, man, really? And it's, you know, you got two country boys here, and we just using common sense. And wait till you see it. You're not going to believe how simple-minded this is and how well it works.
That's great.
Yeah, and I know you like it.
Oh, I've already killed $3 this year. I'm having a ball with it.
You having a ball? Well, who else we got here?
All right, we got Donnie Fleming from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Don, which part of the rut do you prefer hunting most?
Wow. Donnie, you're from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Right there near Atlanta. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I like hunting the rut.
Yeah.
All of it. And, you know, each phase of the rut brings on a different flavor. You know, you can eat vegetables raw, then you can steam them, and it takes on a different thing, and you can mix it with this, and it gets something else. And so as the rut progresses, you get different opportunities. Like when those bucks starts cruising,
yeah,
it's just fun to watch them. You know, bless their hearts, they just running. And you look at them as they go by, they're not quite sure why they're running, but God love them, they run.
They're just moving.
They're just, you know,
just looking.
And what's crazy about it, they ain't all going the same direction. That sucker just crossed where the other one crossed.
Yeah.
You would think they'd get together on the story, but they're just looking. Do you have a preference?
Well, I like, honestly, I like the early season. I like the very first day of bow season. That first week, I like it because the deer are
undisturbed.
Oh, they're undisturbed and they're just relaxed. But then I like it from then to go straight to peak of the rut. I really like that when most of the does are standing, that little bit of time where they're all just, and the bucks are going crazy. That's my two favorite times.
You know, I like all of them, but I tell you the way I think about hunting. And you probably notice this, and you listen to Steve and I talk, guys. The way you look at a deer is you got to consider we're the head of the food chain. You, us, Steve and I, we're the head of the food chain. And if we think about deer like predators, then it brings, because each phase brings on a different place. We all know best place to kill a doe's where? Most people do it on a food plot.
Food source, yeah.
You know, and so you know where to go as a predator would go, but each one of those brings on a different degree of difficulty doing it. There's a challenge to it. Yeah. And but if I just had to do it, pick one, it'd be just before the peak of the rut.
Yeah.
Just before it breaks loose.
Right. You see a lot of deer, a lot of bucks.
Yeah, you see a lot of deer and a lot of bucks, and but once it happens, because just before the peak, you're really hunting around that primary scrape. You're in the middle of it. You're kind of you're working in a given area and almost a given buck, but once it breaks loose, now you got that buck checking his bedroom, but he's chasing that doe out of his bedroom over into somebody else's bedroom. So you're just getting a crossbreed of running there. So I like it all, but probably just before the peak of the rut.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, let's see here. I think we're fixed to go to a commercial break. And guys, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back in just a few moments, and we'll talk about hunting the rut some more. We'll see if we can answer some more Facebook questions. Be back in just 1 second.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Esters, the finest doe esters ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 1/10% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 1/10% club.
That's okay.
See, there's your question.
We're live, Don. There
Well,
we go.
okay. It's a live show, even if you're not calling in. All right, who we got?
We got David Morin from Springvale. Is that Massachusetts?
I think it is.
All right. Is using a rag effective on snow-covered ground as it is before snowfall?
Yes.
As effective?
Well, the answer to that is, well, did he say as effective?
As effective as on snow before snow?
Probably it's more effective without the snow. It is effective even in the snow. And it's, I hate to keep telling people take these urine tests, but those of you up there in the north, and you got snow on the ground, you know how they told you don't drink yellow snow? There's a reason for that. If you put that urine out in that snow, you're going to be able to see it and you're going to be able to smell it. And even if it melts down, you're still going to smell that urine. And actually, Steve, the snow and the coldness of it will help slow down
The degradation.
the degradation of it in the
Probably preserve it a little bit longer.
a little bit
actually.
longer. I mean, it's still hitting the oxygen and it's breaking it down, but oxygen is going to break down urine quicker if it's hotter.
Yeah.
A little slower if it's colder. So you guys up here in the north, where's he from? Massachusetts. David, if you were to take a bottle of Top Secret, and you can see that bottle right there, if you were to open this in Massachusetts and pour it out on the ground, and we're sitting here in North Florida, and you say go, at the exact same time, we all pour it out at the same time, yours is going to last longer. It's going to last longer, fresher for you than it will us down here because it's hotter. Today, what's the temperature?
About 60, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and you're up there
Freezing.
freezing. So, and by the way, we got asked this today, and the answer to this is absolutely yes, that will freeze. And the reason it'll freeze, Steve, there's nothing in it to keep it from freezing.
Yeah,
That's 100% natural, no oxygen. Okay? So, to answer your question, it's probably going to be a little more effective if it's not on snow. But deer urinate in the snow, guys. Listen, all of you living up there in the north in the snow right now, they're not going to the restroom because there's snow on the ground.
Right.
So, I mean, just think about it. So the answer is probably a little bit better, but it's going to be effective in the snow regardless. So David, I hope that helps you. Who else we got?
Well, we got, let me add something to that snow,
All right.
if you don't mind. Boy, of course, down here where we hunt in lower Alabama, hardly ever snows. So last year, we had a good snow one day. It's crazy. It really snowed well. That was the best day of hunting I've ever had down here.
It is fun down
I
here
thought
when it does
maybe he
that.
would shut him down. It did quite the opposite. I went out early, saw a lot of bucks right in the middle of the day. So if it snows and you hunt in Alabama, Florida, you might try to get out and hunt all day. Cause it was amazing.
Yeah, you know, the animals down here is like us, just like, you know, it's rarity for it to snow down here for us.
Man, I tell you.
Everybody gets out in it. Can't drive worth a flip, but everybody gets out in it. But it's true. And deer like to move
Well, they were up on their feet.
ahead of it and immediately afterwards. Once that front hits, deer in the front, they're going to bed down, but they're going to feed ahead of it, and they're going to move afterwards. And they, you know, it's like a fresh dirt. If you just disc the field, a deer's going to come to it.
Oh, man, yeah.
They're coming to that fresh dirt. I mean, one of the best calls in the world is a chainsaw, because that represents fresh browse. And I mean, you don't believe it, go out there and get your chainsaw and go where they're logging and let them chainsaws cut off. All you got to do is just sit up on the dozer and you got you a tree stand, because they're going to come to that fresh browse. Okay, who else we got?
We got Jenny Warner from Lincoln, Nebraska. How much time should you give between rattling, grunting sessions?
Miss Jenny, that's a very good question, and we get asked that, but not near as much as probably we should. And I've heard all kind of stuff, and I'll give you a quick down and dirty opinion to that. The way they tell you, you know, grunt call companies, and by the way, we don't make a grunt call. We don't make rattling bags, but those that do is telling you a sequence, and I've heard all kind of stuff. For instance, Steve, they tell you the way you grunt, you get up in a tree, you grunt 2-3 times, you wait 5 minutes, you grunt once, wait 5 minutes, grunt twice, and then you wait 15-20 minutes. They give you all kind of scenarios how long you're supposed to do it. Deer aren't doing that. Deer's just in the woods grunting. They're following a doe. They're just doing what's natural to them. And so there is no direct sequence, I don't believe.
Yeah.
You know, you get up in a tree, you know, and you act like you're a deer and you act like you're following a doe. But Steve, I tell you what you can do though. If you're up in a tree and you hear this, a buck, you ever been in a scene with bulls or cows out in the pasture and a bull standing there and he bellers at the cows? He's talking to the cow, he's seeing her and he's bellering at her. But if you ever hear this in the woods, you can almost bet that old boy's moving.
Yeah.
If you were to hold your breath, go and then walk, it won't sound it'll sound because you're.
Yeah, he's moving.
He's moving.
Yeah.
So the little short, Jenny, the little short pitches means the deer's moving. The kind of elongated one is more of standing. He's standing the does all around him, and he instead of, you know, he's just cutting her. Now, rattling, Steve, a lot of people will take horns, and the best, by the way, this is a rattling bag, and you use rattling bag or horns?
I use rattling bags just because I got so much stuff already in the back.
That's right. And if you use horns, by all means, you know, you need to cover them things up going in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look here. This is a rattling bag. If you use this and you put it on your pocket and somebody shoots you, you've been doing something you shouldn't be doing. If you put a horns on over you, and guess what everybody's got with a set of horns? They got it tied together, don't they?
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to throw it over the shoulder and they're going to walk through the woods. Now you got racks hung to you. Somebody's going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So rattling, I use a rattling bag, you use a rattling bag, and guys, you don't have to rattle. It's almost a misnomer. You don't have to hit hard, do you?
No. They'll hear. Yeah, they can hear.
Yeah, all you want to do is just, or you can get down hard, but the problem is if you get down real hard and you got your little basket buck out there you're trying to put in the freezer, you're gonna send that old boy gone.
Yeah, you may intimidate him.
Yeah. Have you ever? You don't use lock-on. Do you use lock-ons or
Yeah,
climbers?
well, every now and then.
Guys, have you ever? And I've had this happen to me. Taking a climber and going up a tree. You know how it goes click, 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 going
Sounds
up the
like
stand.
the ground kind of.
Yeah. And you look up. There's a buck come running in on top of you over there, and what he's doing, he's coming to that click, click, that click, click. Even as you're going up the tree, it doesn't have to be loud because whether they're fighting or they're sparring. In other words.
Yeah.
Jenny, listen to that. As you listen to that, and so what you have, as you listen to it, it's you're not doing. You can have a sequence, but listen to me. Pause. And what you're doing, Steve, if you and I are fighting, you're going click, 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 and you're holding each other. You know, it's like arm wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's a pause.
Yeah.
And then it may be click, click, and you're pausing. So you just imagine you're fighting up there.
Right. And
So-
what would you do? And also, I think what she's asking, if you're rattling and grunting, how long would you wait till you do it again?
Well, think about this. Well, see, she's in Nebraska, so we're not near as the problem in Nebraska, but down here, them old oak leaves, and if it's a windy day and the leaves are blowing and I can't hear, grunting, you need to grunt. Grunting is a short distance call. Rattling is a long distance call. Jenny, the first thing I do is I grunt.
Yeah.
Because if you rattle, what you don't know is that buck came in and bedded out there 40 yards from you, and you get up in the tree and you start doing this junk up in the tree, that deer's going to nail you up that tree.
May peck you.
But if you grunt and he's short, he ought to be on you in just a few minutes. And if he's not, he's across the road over, you can rattle. So it depends on rattling, depends on the wind. If it's quiet, man, but grunting and stuff, you know, I'll grunt off and on all day long. You give him time to come downwind to you, and if he's not there, some people tell you got to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes. My theory on that as a country boy is, how many deer is fed in and out of hearing in 30 minutes with me? You know, I'm sitting up in the tree because somebody told me to wait 30 minutes for it. I need to grunt. And what's happened is I got this big buck feeding along out there, and he's fed right on past me, and I didn't even know it. But if I just off and on all day long, depending on if that wind's blowing, I don't grunt. If it's blowing loud, you go to the rattle. Jenny from Lincoln, Nebraska. Have you ever hunted Nebraska?
Never have.
And that's a pretty place out there. It's somewhat lot of river stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of river stuff. Okay, let's see who else we got here.
We got James. I'm not going to try to say your last name, James. I think I'd butcher it. But Cincinnati, Ohio. Does snow or rain affect the rut in any way?
Hey, we're back to that snow issue. Steve, only in that they'll move ahead of it, and they'll move afterwards.
Yeah.
They'll probably shut down, or they're not actually shutting down. They're just bedding down in it.
Yeah.
You know.
The rain. And like down here, I don't know. Really, I'm not sure about up north in the Midwest. What do you think about snow?
Yeah,
they're used to it, I'm assuming. So.
Well, yeah, but think about it. If we're down here in Pensacola and there's a hurricane coming, you know where everybody's going to go? What's everybody in the area going to go if there's on the Gulf Coast if there's a hurricane coming? They're going to go to Walmart and they're going to get all the food and stuff they can do. Why? Because they're going to buckle down during the storm. And as soon as that storm's over with, they're going to get up and start moving again. And it's the same way with animals. They know that front's coming in. They're going to feed ahead of it. They just don't have a Walmart store. They're going to feed ahead of it, and then they're going to buckle down through that storm, snow, actually coming in, and then boy will they move on the back end like that bad snow the other day. Man, I'd love to have been up there just before it and certainly afterwards because it took 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And man,
a good time to be in the woods right then.
And James.
He's talking about peak, I guess. Does it affect the peak of the rut? Probably what he's talking about.
Yeah, does snow and rain affect the peak of the rut? No, not really. James, being that the peak, if you're talking about a doe coming in, the colder the weather can affect that, but as far as shutting a buck down, nah.
Yeah.
Unless it's just a storm and the doe shuts down, he's shutting down. But as long as he can get to her and she's in, he's going to follow her. So, but Ohio, man, that's a different. You guys up there are used to hunting in the snow and stuff. But the quick answer on that is snow or rain affects the rut only in that deer are going to move ahead and after the front, deer and if they're going to shut down. But as far as affecting the does and the bucks chasing the does,
Yeah.
I mean, my Lord, you can shoot a buck and shoot him, literally shoot an arrow slap through him, and him stop, flinch, and keep chasing the doe, and then just fall over dead, because he's that driven on what he's doing.
Yeah.
A little bit of snow ain't gonna bother him as long as he can get to her and run her.
Yeah.
And hey, I've seen them go put a doe in a brush pile, run her into a brush pile, like in a, you know how they push up in the clear cuts down here? Push her, run her up in there, hemmed her up in there, and the doe go up in there and looking at him, and the buck standing out there trying to, got her hemmed up in there, and she just finally just kind of laid down in there, and he stood around out there for a while, then he laid down, and finally she came out, took off, and he cut out. He's going to follow her. So, James, only in that before and after the rut will he chase them, but as far as shutting it down, no.
Yeah.
All right.
Next one, we got Steve Freeman from Pelzer, South Carolina. Is it best to hunt clear cuts off in the woods during the rut? Is it best to hunt clear cuts?
Yeah, I think he's asking, is it best to hunt clear cuts
or
deep in the woods?
Yeah, during the rut.
Now,
Either, yeah.
he's talking rut, and Steve, I'm assuming here, let's answer it both ways. I'm assuming he's talking about the peak, and the key to that is peak of the rut. They're going to, bucks in general, they're going to follow the doe. Now, a buck's more concerned about cover than the doe is, so he's just going to follow the doe. The more pressure you get, the more nocturnal a big buck would be, the further it'd push him into thick stuff. But as a general rule, hunting, I like clear cuts, and I like the wall of a clear cut. If you got a standing timber, let's say this is a clear cut here, and this property belongs to somebody else, or it's your property, and they only cut a section. I love hunting that wall. Any transition, Steve, in topography, a deer likes to travel it.
Right, and I'm assuming he's talking about hunting with a gun.
Yeah, he may be.
Talking about clear cuts, so
yeah,
you can certainly see a lot more. And they'll sure chase them in them clear cuts.
Steve, if you were to go to our Facebook, and there was a old boy, in fact, he called the show last week, didn't he, from South Carolina?
Yep.
And he's killed 3 fine bucks with Top Secret this year, and check that out. He's in South Carolina. Steve,
clear cut, didn't he?
Yeah, matter of fact, he did.
Yeah.
I wonder if Steve, what part of South Carolina he's from. Steve, this gentleman was from the southern zone, which comes in August 15th. So, but hunt those transitions. It's best to hunt clear cuts in the woods.
Or in the woods.
Or in the woods during the rut. All season, the further it gets into the peak, the more traffic, the more pressure, you're going to push them big bucks into those. They're going to try to find the thickest and the
more cover, yeah.
The more cover and the more recluse they can get, that's where they want to go. So, Stephen, hope that answered you. Steve, hope that answered your question. Might call us back. Let's see who else we got. Are we fixing to go to a commercial? We got time for one more? Okay, great.
Here we go. Stephen Wagoner from Greenwood. Not sure which state we're calling from. Why do mature bucks ignore rattling at times during peak rut?
Stephen, I wonder if that's Greenwood, Mississippi, because that's over within just 30 miles of where we were Tuesday night. If you are in Greenwood, hey, we were in, where were we? Cleveland, Mississippi, just 30 miles up the road from you there the other night. In fact, that was Tuesday night. Saturday night, we were over in Vaden, Mississippi, which is about an hour from you. So that's in Mississippi. If it's not, Stephen, totally ignore. Totally ignore what
let us know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Let's see. Why do bucks ignore rattling at times during the peak of the rut? Stephen, think about that question just a
I think you
second.
might have answered that a while ago.
He's a little busy.
Yeah.
If old boy's chasing her, he ain't got time to stop and fight you over another one. Now, if he gets through with her, he may come over and want to fight you a little bit. But right now he's busy. He's focused, and he's focused. And so what he's doing is he's going to chase that doe till he's through with that doe, unless another buck runs him off of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And guys, look, and that's so true. And Steve, one other quick things we're fixing to go to this commercial is, I've seen bucks, and I told the guys that came in the office today, I told them they were fixing to go hunting over Mississippi, and they said, well, which way the bucks you need to be doing this stuff with these deer. Bucks are like men. Men are like bucks, sort of. If men were like bucks, every telephone pole up and down the interstate would be tore up. In fact, I tell them, most of them, if you look at them, they are nicked up a little bit. And what happens is bucks are chasing does. Mm-hmm. But once he's on her, the only reason that I won't stay on that doe is that you come along and kick my butt. Mm-hmm. And I yield to your dominance. And guys, what you need to understand out there is that when a doe is in estrus, she will breed any buck that is there that another one doesn't take off. Meaning that if she's in full estrus, she's going to stand to that teenager. She's going to stand to that little spike, that little basket buck, unless Big Dog comes along and kicks his butt off of her, and then he breeds. That is the selective process. But once she's in estrus, she's ready. And she's going to breed unless another one takes her off of it.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a heck of a way to lead into a commercial. Okay, guys, let's hang tight. We'll be back in just one moment, and we'll take some more Facebook questions.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Estrus, the finest doe estrus ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 1/10% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their arsenal. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 1/10% club.
All righty, guys, we're back. We're going to go again, Steve. Hey, guys, we want to take just a second and welcome and acknowledge all of our club members out there. Hunting the Rut Hotline is sponsored by Top Secret Deer Scent, and it's actually sponsored, Steve, by the 1/10% club of Top Secret. And guys, listen, all of you out there, and you see these wine bottles behind us here, that's not wine, that's deer urine. That is estrus. And what that is the finest deer urine that the industry's ever seen. Guys, we've been doing this nearly 30 years, and reserve here is literally from individual does, no oxygen, 3-4 years old, Steve, and it's never seen oxygen, and we literally pulled, this is estrus. Yep. And Steve, you got buck.
Breeding buck urine.
Put that buck right up there, right there. I hope you guys can see this. And what this is estrus, and this is buck. This has never seen oxygen. It's 26 ounces. By the way, it's a $100 bill. You think, my God, I ain't gonna pay $100 bottles for deer urine. But listen, this is 26 ounces. It comes to $3.85 an ounce. This has never seen oxygen. This is a game changer. There's only 12,000 bottles, and guys, for 12 million deer hunters, which means, Steve, only 1/10% will get a bottle. This is in-process urine. And Steve, that means that we literally pulled that old buck off of that doe. Now the bottle Steve just had here, this is literally buck urine. Now we started with 12,000 of these. We only started with about 1,100 of these because about 10% of your herd is buck. So actually, in reality, that is harder to get than this. It's $100 a bottle. You want to be a club member, you can join today, and here's the way you do it. You can go to the website, TopSecretDeerScent.com, and Steve, all they got to do, season's in right now, and you want this bottle today, and we've got it. All you got to do is go to TopSecretDeerScent.com, hit the website, hit where it says 1/10%. In fact, as you're watching this show right now, all you got to do is look below Steve and I. There's a button there that says 1/10 of 1% Club. You can hit that button and it'll take them to the club, and you can join. You can join the club by one or two ways. First way is you can say, hey, Top Secret, I want this bottle and I want it today because, Steve, I'm hunting this weekend.
Yeah, get it to me.
Get it to me. Get it to me. You can hit it. You can buy it right then, and we're going to ship it right now today to you or tomorrow. All right. Now, if you want to join this and be a club member for 2015, guys, we have started, and we're going to have a big push December 1. December the 1st, we're going to have what we call open enrollment. And to be fair with this, we'll keep every year trying to figure out how the best way to do this. So we're going to have an open enrollment starting December 1 for the month of December. And you can go now today and you can hit that website and buy now, ship now. Or you can buy it today and it'll pay for it, Steve, over 4 payments.
4 $25 payments.
And you can say, hey, I want mine shipped next year, December 15th, 2015. So it'll pay for it over 4 payments, and we'll ship it next year. You become a club member. When you buy this bottle, you become a 1/10 of 1% club member. And Steve, they get to be part of new product development. In fact, guys, you got that graphic up on the screen? As you guys can see, you can be part of the 1/10 of 1% club. You get to be part of new product development. You get to do webinars. Your guest on the show is a club member. All the guys watching, you realize that we invite club members on to be guests into the show. But more importantly, oh, by the way, once they become a club member, they get a 5% discount on all future purchases.
That's right.
At checkout. So no matter what you buy as a club member, it automatically gives you a discount as you check out as a club member. You have a link to Facebook that only club members has. Nobody else can do it. If you're a club member, you have your own Facebook page. By the way, we're running big bug contests every month in the course of the season 2014 for all club members. We ran one for October, we're running one for November, December, January, and folks, I know you're not going to believe it up here in the north, but down here, even in February. So it is a neat deal. You can be part of the club. All you got to do is hit that little icon or go to Top Secret Deer Scent, join the club, and guys, you'll be able to say that you got a bottle and nobody can take it away from them, Steve.
Yep.
The only way you get it taken away is that you simply do not reorder. It's like buying season tickets at the University of Alabama or whatever university you go to. Nobody can take it away unless you don't reorder. Guys, get you something. Oh, by the way, Mama,
It's a good Christmas gift.
you got that right. It is a great
Christmas right
Christmas
around
gift.
the corner.
Great Christmas gift. Comes to $3.85 an ounce, guys. It's a great gift. Okay, let's see. We're fixing to go to another Facebook questions. Let's see where we at.
We got Evan Christie from Ontario, Canada.
Good gracious.
Hey, way up there. All right. When is the perfect time to put out doe estrus?
Peak of the rut.
Yeah, you had to pick the perfect time. Yeah,
Yeah, peak of the rut, guys. Well, now, that was going to Steve, I lied on that. The best time to use estrus is just before the peak. You're going to have some doe. Once they start chasing does,
Right, then they're looking.
use estrus from there all the way to the season.
Right.
And everybody pay attention. We just had somebody from Nebraska, now we got somebody from Canada. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Florida or Ontario or Manitoba. Once he starts chasing does, start using estrus. You've already should have been using, Evan, buck. You keep using your buck, because any buck will come to buck year in the first part of the year. Starts out good, the closer it gets to the peak, the more aggressive it becomes. Then you start using the estrus, but you never quit using the buck. So
just before peak is what you're saying.
that's right.
Yeah.
Best time to use estrus is just before the peak, and you start using it all the way to the end of the season.
Yeah.
And always grunt with your buck urine. All right.
All right. We got John Miley
Miley?
from Lake Wiley, South Carolina. How do you maintain freshness with the product after purchase?
Guys, here's the way you do this. Our product is oxygen-free from collection to the bottle. Okay? That bottle right there as you can see, it is a clear yellow. In fact, guys, let's see if you can do that with that camera. You see my finger pass through that? Isn't that amazing on camera? See my finger? You can see it through the bottle, through the camera. So it is amazing. That has never seen, that's what urine looks like that's never seen oxygen. Now, to use it, you open it, you pour it into the scent saver. I'll swap that out,
Yeah.
All right, so you got oxygen free. You're going to open this bottle, 3 ounces. This is 3 ounce. This is called a scent saver system. It comes with the bottle, a plug, pump. So we're going to open that bottle. Steve and I are going hunting this afternoon.
Yeah, pour all of it in there.
Pour it all in here right now. Every bit of it. All 3 ounces. It'll hold it. You plug it. Immediately, we're ready to go hunting.
Right then.
You click it. I mean, you pump it, and you pump it 2 or 3 times, and you're fine. But Steve, you can't over pump it because it'll click. Listen to this.
Yeah, hear that?
That almost
Yeah.
like a little metal type click.
You'll hear it every time.
That is now no oxygen. Now you don't want to do that in the woods, but it shows you how airtight that is. So here we go. We pour it all in here.
Yeah.
We pump it out. Steve, you and I, we were ready to go hunting. And John, now, so we're on John. Yes, John, now you're ready to go hunting tomorrow, next week. There's no oxygen. It's just like you never opened that bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, and another part of your question, you said climate control room. So you really don't want to get it, leave it on the dash of the truck. You
Nope.
don't want to get it really hot, but just
Constant.
temperature. Room temperature is good, even cooler. But just don't want to get real hot. It will degrade.
You don't want
faster.
those extremes from
Extreme
one to the other.
temperatures,
Now,
But you don't have to refrigerate it.
you don't have to refrigerate it. I was fixing to say, you put it in the refrigerator, Mama's going to fuss
Yeah,
at you.
she's gonna be mad.
You better have your own refrigerator, hadn't you? But you do it. You look at them laughing at me out there. They do. I'm telling you they
Oh,
do.
yeah.
And
A lot of hunters do that.
Oh, I've had women come to me at shows and tell my husband, stop putting that stuff in the refrigerator. And we don't tell them to do it, and it ain't going to hurt it. But you don't have to.
No.
But I tell you something you don't want to do. You don't want to freeze it. You don't want to freeze it. All you got to do is once you put it in this, it's like you've never opened it.
That's right.
It's ready to go. We guarantee it right on. Now, the advantage of this is you open this right now. If you open that and we went hunting, we open it, we close it, we put oxygen to it. If you didn't hunt that till next week, it'd be brown. If you open it and use some more this afternoon, sun tomorrow morning, you're just putting more oxygen to it. It's just going to ammoninate quicker.
Which is still the freshest
oh yeah,
that's available. Even if you do.
as soon as you open that, that's the freshest any scent has ever been in the hunting industry because that's the first time it hits oxygen. This simply maintains it without oxygen
Right.
in between usages. So here you go, no oxygen. So we go hunting. You don't want to pop it. It's got a little nipple on the top.
Yeah.
See that little nipple right there, guys? All you're going to do is push it or pull it. You hear it go, ch.
Yeah.
Now you can open it, use it without it going pop. Use it like you normally would. Plug it, pull your pump out, 2-3 pumps, no oxygen.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. And John, you're ready to go hunting next week, next month. And for the first time in this industry, with the scent saver system, you can start with no oxygen and use it between hunts. By pumping it out, you can use it all the way down and it still be fresh. Only Top Secret has that, guys. Oxygen free from collection to the bottle, patent pending, in 4 different ways. This is a game changer in the scent industry. And guys, you ought to get you some. Go to the Facebook and look at all these big bucks being killed.
Yeah.
Listen to the stories. It's a game changer, and you got an opportunity to get you some of it. So
Let me add to it. Don't open it inside. I did it in the cabin there, boy. It's fresh.
Hey,
it's fresh.
You don't
do it outside.
You don't want to do it, and you won't mistake that right there. Somebody told us that they'd mistake that for a bottle of wine. No, you won't. You won't do it but once. But I tell you what it will do, Steve. It will shock most people when they open that and smell it. They are so used to urine being dark and ammoniated that when they open that they go, really?
It's a distinct difference.
It is a phenomenally distinct difference, and only Top Secret has it because no oxygen, guys. It's just like you got to tie it up out there, and you don't want to buy a big bottle like this because if you open it, you need to pump it out, and you can get you a scent saver so you can pump it out between using it.
Absolutely.
So you can use this all the way down, and it still be fresh. Like this.
For this one, you get an extra
That's right.
stopper when you order and you join the club. You get extra, so you
get a stopper with this,
Yeah.
and then you get the scent saver system. It's called a combo. You can get it on the website. Join the club.
Yep.
Who else we got?
All right, Don, we got Bradley James from Bradley James Piper, excuse me, Owensboro, Kentucky. During the rut, will a dominant buck move into another dominant buck's area after it was killed?
You know what? I believe we talked to Bradley, several weeks ago.
Yeah, I think we did. Watched some good hunting land.
Well,
up
you
there,
got that right.
Good area.
Owensboro, well, doggone, he ain't that far. Well, yeah, he is. You know, Owensboro's north of Central City. See, Bradley, you don't think we know where you live. You up there in Owensboro, just north of Central City. You up there north of Muhlenberg County, which is Owensboro may be in Muhlenberg County.
Yeah.
Great
go hunt
county.
with him,
You got
can't we?
that right. Great piece of property to hunt. All right, so the question, during the rut, would a dominant buck move into another dominant buck's area after he was killed? Yes. That's a simple one. Yes. You've heard it in real estate. Location, location, location. We tell this, and guys, you know it to be true, those of you that do it. If Steve's the dominant buck, and I shoot Steve over a scrape, or in an area of his master bedroom in that area, and he's the one, whether I shoot him over the scrape, or I shoot you in and around the scrapes in your area, when I take him out of the gene pool, when I take that dominance out, the next most dominant buck's going to take that real estate. Because he's already wanting the real estate. I want the real estate, but my problem is he's kicking my butt. In the absence of him kicking my butt, I'm going to take it. So you can kill, those of you, here in Alabama, in Florida, we can kill a lot of bucks. And so you can kill several bucks over the same scrape. So real estate, real estate, real estate. Once you take him out, absolutely. Another most dominant buck's going to come in and take that out.
Right.
There'll be a vying for that dominance
spot,
again,
yeah.
for that spot.
Yeah.
Good master bedroom, he's gone, somebody else is going to come in and move in.
Hang in there with it.
Yeah, I guarantee you. And it's amazing how quick they'll take that real estate over, too.
Yeah.
All right, who else we got?
We got Randy Mitchell from Ozark, Missouri. Does the size of the tree that a rub is on determine the size of the rack or size of the buck in general?
What do you think about that?
Well, I think yes, to a degree. If it's a big tree, obviously a small buck with small antlers can't really make that.
Not as
Make that
likely to
happen.
make that big.
Now small tree, small bucks all the way up to big dominant bucks are going to they're going to do that. They're going to work that tree. So a big tree, yeah, good. That's probably a big buck.
As a general rule,
Yeah.
a big, if it makes you excited, there's a reason for it. Up there in Illinois, did I tell you about that rub behind that little old stand I was sitting up on top of that tree?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, man, there was a tree up there like that, and but the doggone thing was just absolutely peeled back, maybe shoulder high, starting about a foot off the ground, and he cleaned that sucker clean. When I was a little boy, we used to peel bark off of pine trees. We'd strip the bark off, and that's what it reminded me of, sitting up there looking. I said, boy, Dad'd be proud of that tree. He cleaned that thing all the way around, 3/4 around, which means you could tell them horns went around. When he was hitting it here, he was hitting it over here.
Good buck.
Yeah, never did see him, but boy, wouldn't I like to. So as a general rule, Bradley, what Steve is saying is true. The bigger the rub, as a general rule, bigger
the buck.
Bigger the buck.
Bigger the size.
But
right.
a little one doesn't mean just a little one. You could also have a big buck hooking that little bush too.
Right.
So, as a general rule, it follows suit going up, but coming back, it could be any buck.
Right.
And hey, look, I've seen some I've seen some little bucks come up to a big rub and kind of play at it.
But they're not going to make
That doesn't mean it's theirs.
Yeah.
You know, and hey, and I've seen some little bucks come up to scrapes that I've seen the buck make and couldn't make the shot on him, and then have another lesser buck come in later, walk up there, you know, and you think, what in the Sam? Ain't no way in the world that's his scrape. Well, first of all, I know it's not because I saw the other buck. It's a lesser buck. But what he does, he'll come up there, he may mouth the branch, he may hook the limb, but note, as a general rule, he doesn't urinate in it.
Oh, yeah.
If they urinate in it, one or two things. It's either his or he thinks he's a bad motor scooter and he can kick your butt.
Yeah. And he's probably going to get his butt.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, all right, who else we got?
We got Michael Mapes from Freeburn, Kentucky. Why do deer go nocturnal during the rut?
I think he's talking about the peak of the rut.
Yeah, yeah.
And pressure. Pressure. You know, pressure's the number one thing that puts a buck into being nocturnal. Having said that, generally, the first thing people tell me when they say, oh, I got this nocturnal buck, you know, and I say, man, that's great. Because if you got a nocturnal buck, you got a good buck. As a general rule, you got a good buck. Because he's already big enough and old enough, got enough sense not to be playing out there in that green field or out in that clear cut, running them little does like little teenagers. He's got enough sense to move at night. Now, how you kill him, how you get to him is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, the older the buck and pressure puts a buck nocturnal.
Yeah.
But, you know, a whitetail, Steve, you know, they're funny animals. People think a whitetail is they're, you know, elusive and they fast and they jump, and all that's true. And they'll jump over that pickup out there.
Oh, yeah.
But he's lazy. A whitetail buck by nature, you would think, you'd say, well, that's dumb. He's not. Because a buck, he'll take the least. Look, I challenge you on this. How many of you guys seen a deer on a ridge? He doesn't go up. He crosses at an angle. He's like us. We don't climb a mountain up. We go around.
Take it easier.
Yeah, we don't build roads straight up. We build them around it because it's the least point of resistance. So a buck by nature is that way. But, you know, guys, nocturnal is not a bad thing. It makes it hard. As a general rule, Steve, you can't run him out.
Yeah.
You can't rattle him out.
It's tough.
But you can use buck urine and play with him.
Tell him something's in there.
That's right, and I was looking at our time here. Let me see if we got time to tell them how to do that. You take buck urine. Guys, kill your human odor. Guys, look, we're assuming you're doing that. And we're going to show you some stuff coming up in January for next year. All of you going to want in your backpack. Yeah. It's going to be a game changer in the odor stock market, guys. But kill your human odor and see who we talk to. Michael. Michael, here's what you want to do. Kill your human odor. You got a nocturnal buck. Old Steve's the big buck here, and he's tearing that scrape up at night, and you're seeing him on the camera, and you can't get to him. You grunt him, you rattle him, you can't do it. Get you some buck urine, kill your human odor, go in, put it in his bedroom. Old big boy right here. Oh, Steve, what you gonna do when you come in at night? You ain't gonna like it. That's like Old Spice.
Yeah.
And so big dog here, he's gonna come in and he's gonna tear that scrape up. He's gonna re-urinate in it. He's telling me to get out of there. Now, it's very important, Michael and Steve, for him to do it at the same time every day, especially with Top Secret. Because when you pour Top Secret out today at daylight, and you pour it out tomorrow at daylight, and you pour it out the next day at daylight, it starts breaking down at the same time. So by being constant, pouring it out at the same time every day, it tells this buck, this nocturnal, when you're there.
When you're there, and he's going to figure that out.
That's right. His nose is going to follow the freshness of that urine.
Yeah.
But if you put it out at daylight and put it out at noon the next day and put it out at 9 o'clock the morning the third day, he doesn't know when you're there.
Right.
But with Top Secret, when you first pour it out, it starts breaking down. So you poured it out at 8 o'clock. You come in and you tear it all up and you remark it. Scrape will get bigger and deeper because he's mad. He's in my face telling me to get out of there. I put buck urine in there. Next morning, I kill my human odor, Steve. I'm right back. I do it again. You're going to come in. What you going to do? You're going to tear it up again.
Tear it up.
Mark it, do it third day. Each time he does it, by me pouring this urine out at the same time every day, the first time it sees oxygen is when I do it. The closer Steve gets with his nose, the fresher this is. So it's telling him to come closer to it. And the reason he's doing that, he wants to catch that Old Spice guy climbing through that bathroom window. You come home every night, guys, and you smell Old Spice cologne 3 nights in a row, I bet you punch out early and come home early. And that's what it'll do on a nocturnal buck.
Yeah, you get in there and kill him.
That's right. His greatest defense is this. His greatest weakness is this. This protects him, and this will kill him. And you just got to know when to do that. So quick answer to that is, on a long answer, it's great if you got a nocturnal buck because it focuses you on what you need to do. And if you can do it, it won't work every time doing what I just said. It'll work a lot of times, but if it works like we're telling you, you're going to have a good buck in there.
That's right. And if it does, let us know about it.
You absolutely send us a picture. Let's see, guys. We got where we at? We got room for some more.
Yep.
One more.
All right. We got Robert Fair from Ashland, Ohio. That's good property to be hunting there.
That's right.
Robert.
And a good club member. Old Robert's a club member.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Well, when does a buck stop checking his own scrape or a mock scrape?
Oh, in fact, old Robert. Hey, Robert, you know this. We've talked to Robert numerous times, and in fact, I believe. Robert was talking to Teresa the other day, and I believe, Robert, you're in your 3rd or 4th year as a club member. And he's one of the first guys that joined the club and is a big, serious hunter, Robert is. And he's in a great state to hunt.
Well, I mean.
Robert, when does the buck stop checking his own scrape or mock scrapes? I don't think, Steve, they ever do.
Yeah.
You know, as long as there's a doe, Robert, think about this. You're in your neighborhood, and you got your master bedroom, and you're looking for your wife or your girlfriend. And the whole reason, and Robert, you and I, we've talked about this in the past, when you make that primary scrape, Steve, that master bedroom, he does it for 2 reasons. He does it to tell all the girls to come to him, all the does, here's where I want you to meet me. And he does it to tell all the bucks to keep their butt out of there. That's the reason we call it a master bedroom. We put a reverence on this room versus any other room in the house. Now, what happens is, if that buck is checking that scrape, he's checking it pre-rut, just before the peak of the rut, he's running that route. He's going to work and he's coming home. He's going to work and he's coming home. He's got his bedroom he's checking. But once he starts chasing them does, and his wife's not there, or his girlfriend's not there, and other women are walking down the street, he gonna get out in the street. But even if he goes down the street and there's no does no more down there, he's gonna come back by that master bedroom.
Yep.
So he's gonna run does, Robert, as long as there's a doe to run. If not, he can't find any, then he's gonna come back and check that scrape. Yeah. So they really don't ever.
So would you say he's gonna do it all the way until the last does or?
Yes, sir. He'll do it all the way to the very end, all the way to the very end of the season. Not as aggressively, for a lot of reasons. Those are the majority of them are bred. You know, those few recycling, Steve, and there's competition for them. And you know, by the time the peak of the rut ends, that old boy's tired. I mean, he has lost a lot of body weight. And all you guys out there hunting know that, man, they just go. I mean, they're running. I mean, imagine, I never was good at basketball. I'm the wrong height to play basketball. But, man, you got to be in shape to play basketball. And the reason you got to be in shape in basketball, because you never did figure it out. Look, Don, run down there, turn around and run back up here. Run down there and run around and come back up. Well, that's what a buck's do it. And he's doing it during this entire period. And Robert up there in Ohio, 2-week period. Down here where we are, the peak of the rut is longer. It's not as dramatic as it is, Robert, where you are in the Midwest or the Northeast, but down here in the Southeast, it's longer, so there's a longer running period. So, Robert, I hope that answers your question. They never really stopped doing that. Boy, Steve, we almost got to everybody.
Yeah, just about.
We almost. It's amazing how an hour. What time is it? Yep, they're in there doing this to us. So, guys, look. we hope that this show, and we appreciate all the feedback. They call in, don't
absolutely.
they? And guys, we appreciate it, and we want you to tell everybody about this show. This show's all about you. You know, we don't make these questions up, and as you can tell, we remind you each week, just look at where these people are calling from.
Yeah.
From Canada, all to the southeast, to the Midwest, to the Northeast, to the West, because we're all hunters. We all want to know. We're bound together with this concept of the rut, and we're head of the food chain, Steve.
Yeah.
And here's a source, a place that you can come to each week. You can talk to Steve and I on hunting the rut. You got questions, we got answers, and we'll see you next week on Hunting the Rut with Don Bell and Steve, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 7 o'clock, folks. Call, email us. We'll see you next Thursday night.